everybody. Joe Van Dorn here, and welcome to our Virtues Pick for today. And I'm running a little bit late, but that's what happens when you have the hot water heater needs to be fixed, the grandkids are in town, and there's all kinds of things going on. So here we go, though. We have a great word for today, and the virtue that came up for us today was gentleness. So let's read the description first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Gentleness is an attitude of tenderness and love toward people and the world around us. Gentleness flows from a desire not to harm anyone or anything. In its presence, all are safe. It takes strength to call on the self-control that gentleness requires, particularly when we feel hurt or angry. Being gentle with ourselves helps us to be more forgiving and kind to others as well. Gentleness trades control for an embrace. Gentleness is moving wisely, touching softly, speaking quietly, and thinking kindly. Taking time for gentle activities nurtures our souls. So what a great word, right? And when this came up, I was thinking that just the other day we had another virtue that came up that gentleness was involved in, and I honestly don't remember which virtue that was. But you'll notice one of the things that I've noticed as we've been doing these, reading the descriptions and talking about the different virtues, is that in every virtue there are other virtues that balance them, that support the virtue that we're talking about, right? So like in this one here, I see a couple of virtues. Like the virtue that we're talking about is gentleness, but we see the word strength in there. So strength is a virtue. We see kindness or kindly. Kind is a virtue. And let's see what else is in there. So those are the two that come up. Oh, forgiveness, okay, and that's certainly a virtue, isn't it? And so all of those words that help us to be kinder both to ourselves and to others is what gentleness is all about. Have you ever noticed that someone who needs to control others or control situations or control all of their surroundings, have you ever noticed that those are the ones that when they begin to feel hurt or angry, that gentleness goes right out the window, and there is no more gentleness, not in the ways that they speak to us, not in the ways that they treat us, not in the ways that they think about us or anything. But sometimes I have to admit that we do those same things to ourselves, and we do it because our thinking is offline, it's distorted, it's automatic triggered thoughts that come into our mind, and we stop thinking kindly about ourselves, and we stop using a couple of virtues. We stop using assertiveness maybe, or maybe we take it the other direction and we're overly assertive. So it's just so important for us, and this is how I'm thinking about it today for myself anyway, is not only about our gentleness towards other people, but having this attitude of love towards other people and towards the world, and knowing that everything is going to work out, but also having that gentleness towards ourselves, so that we don't harm ourselves in the way that we think. We don't harm ourselves in the way that we act out, and we use our self-control to discipline ourselves so that we can live our best life and be the best and bring out the best in others as well as ourselves. And that's one of the keys that we have here for everything that we do. Because our goal, whether it's with our children or with other people, is not to put them down and bring them down, but rather to raise them up. And when we do that, we can honestly say that we raise ourselves up too. So gentleness is certainly a virtue that we want to think about, and how we're acting. Now, how do we attain that, I think, is the bigger thing. And one of the most useful ways that I have found is for us to take the time for meditation. And I would say that the most important time for us to do that is in the mornings. When we wake up, we are refreshed. We haven't been inundated with any of the issues, but we wake up as a fresh new day, a new page of life ahead of us, and it gives us the opportunity to slow everything down and to get connected to our inner self, to get connected to the universe, to get connected to our, the source of life. And when we do that, I think it helps us to continue that for a little bit longer in the day. And some days, it's going to be like for 3 minutes. And other days we might make it till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and then the more we practice, the longer that time comes, and we can enjoy the peace of this virtue of gentleness for longer and longer periods of time. So those are my thoughts today. How do we help our kids with that? I love the idea, when our young ones are coming up, to use that word gentle with them instead of giving longer instructions or saying other things in a more aggressive manner. We can just ask them to be gentle, right? So gentle, right? And we demonstrate to them what gentle looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and whether that's with animals in the house or with our brother or sister or with us even, right? If we use that word, we can help them to develop that virtue of gentleness in a physical way. And then as they get older, we can encourage them to tie their gentleness in with the words that they use and the way they treat other people, and tie it in with courtesy and respect and some of the other virtues that help to support that. So those are my thoughts today about gentleness. I'll be really focusing on it about how I'm treating myself, because that has a huge impact on the way I think, has a huge impact on how I treat other people. So that's how I'm looking at it today. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope that you too will practice this virtue of gentleness and focus on it for this day, at least for a little bit of time. And until next time, which is tomorrow, we will continue to practice the virtues and the 4 C's of successful families, and that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time.